So every Sparks song is about Sparks. Now, I know that might sound a little unhinged, especially if you know their music, because it doesn't sound biographical, but by the end of this video, I think it'll feel unavoidable, because there's a particular way of looking at their lyrics, where something strange happens. These songs stop being isolated, and they talk to each other across decades. What looks like wit, storytelling, or absurdity on the surface starts to reveal a second layer underneath it. It's about creativity, control, failure, and success, and what it actually takes to keep being Sparks over all these years. In this episode, I'm going to show you 3 things. First, that Sparks repeatedly write songs that include an audience, and it always seems to reflect on the performer in that song in different ways. Second, there are songs where audiences don't see what's right in front of them. And third, I'm going to talk about what we, Sparks audience, have missed about this band. It's a secret they hold, a long-term deliberate design, where songs don't just describe their career, they are the mechanism for shaping it. And if all that's true, then Sparks haven't just maintained a 5-decade career, they've engineered it. Now, before I get going, if you like what I do, please like and subscribe and comment and share this about. So let's get going.
I love the sun and the moon. I'll hold the world in my hand. These things are easy for me. I can't make you understand. Pulling rabbits out of a hat. Pulling rabbits out of a hat. All I get is polite applause. Applause, 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 applause.
That was Pulling Rabbits Out of a Hat from the album of the same name that came out in 1984. And if you take it on face value, it's about a magician who's underappreciated because he's performing actual literal miracles, but these are mistaken for cheap tricks by the audience. If Sparks were any other band, then I'd think that this song is an allegory for a relationship. It's a guy failing to impress a woman, despite having so much going for him. But try reading these words as being from Sparks. They achieve impossible feats with this songwriting. These things are easy for me, but the audience don't realise it. They get polite applause only. The audience mistakes the genius of Sparks for mere entertainment.
Entertaining, that's the word I get from you. Entertaining, and then you bid upon the dew.
This is a song that features an audience that doesn't really get it, and this was true of Sparks at this stage in their story.
I can't believe what I'm seeing.
That is what a hunting did to be drunk.
They were a bit much for most people.
What can I say? I'm an American, so I don't want to criticize too much, but, you know, Sparks are a lot of things that many Americans don't seem to care for.
So that was a low point, but over subsequent years they had a lot more success and they had a growing fan base, and that audience is reflected in the songs that follow.
Wait, now they're starting to applaud. Guess there really is a God above.
They loved it, they showed it.
The audience was deafening.
I was ready.
The critics all said riveting. The congregation sways. The congregation says amen. The congregation sways. It says amen again. But my message is lost on them. Lost on all of them. It only reaches one of them. It only reaches one of them.
So all of those songs are from when Sparks had a better relationship with their audience, when they were growing more popular. And on that last one, the audience is a congregation at the Notre Dame Cathedral. The narrator is the organist, and he's playing his music, and they think it's all inspired by God, that it's this divine music, but really he's playing to catch the ear of a sexy tourist who's just come into Notre Dame Cathedral to escape the rain. He's looking for a one-night stand. So the message is lost on the audience, lost on all of them. Just like Pulling Rabbits, it's an audience that doesn't understand the performance. So this can be Sparks' audience, deeply affected and moved by the music, but not really understanding the intent of the performance. And if that sounds like Sparks mocking their fans, then check this out. Just a few songs later, they're even more blunt.
I can't believe that you would fall for all the crap in this song. I can't believe that you would fall for all the crap in this song.
Everyone thinks that this is a joke about pop audiences falling for silly love songs, but what if it's actually us, the Sparks fans, who don't get it? And this idea of the audience missing a point comes up in a really specific way. Not just misunderstanding, but focusing on the wrong thing entirely. And there's a song that captures that perfectly. So tell me, Mrs. Lincoln, aside from that, how was the play? It's an old joke based on Abraham Lincoln's widow because he was shot in a theatre, so if anybody asks her what she thought of the play, then it's missing the point entirely. And also, the use of the imagery of the theatre brings the audience to mind. So this is obliviousness and the audience put together once again. It's somebody responding to a situation but missing the one thing that actually matters. It's someone focusing on the wrong thing. And that same feeling runs through the verses.
Only the subtext, never the text. Wish I could push a button for next. Only the surface, never the art. When will the confab finally start? Nodding my head like a bobblehead dog, trying to smile, ignoring it all. Don't interrupt you just cause a fuss. Hope I can catch the 10 o'clock bus.
The verses in this song describe a conversation. Only the subtext, never the text. Only the surface, never the heart. One person is talking and the narrator is nodding, smiling and waiting for it to end. They're present but not engaged. Now, to make sense of these verses in the context of the chorus, the Mrs. Lincoln joke, then you have to assume that this other guy is missing the point. He's missing what's right in front of him and focusing on entirely the wrong thing. And I like to think of these verses as being first-person Ron in a fan encounter when he's meeting a member of the audience. And he's bored or uneasy because this guy is talking about the meaning of Ron's songs and getting it completely wrong. And yes, there's an obvious irony here because I'm here analysing Ron and Russell Mayall's music while claiming that people who analyse Sparks lyrics miss the point, which means that if this theory is true, then I might be doing exactly what they're warning about. So this person misses the real meaning, but Ron is polite and he doesn't interrupt because it'll just cause a fuss. After all, who wants to be let down by their heroes? But he can't tell him the meaning of these songs either because it's a secret. And that big secret is hinted at later on in the same song. What lies underneath it all? So this is the thing that people are missing in Sparks' music. It's the thing that unifies everything in their catalogue. And it reminds me of this line from the song I'm Toast.
Guess the one thing that all means is, what does it all mean? What does it all mean? What does it all mean? What does it all mean?
As in, what does Sparks music all mean? What lies underneath it all? Plus, there's this. There's something hidden deep in Sparks music and people just aren't looking at it. And now we're in the I know something that you don't know territory. Listen to how the album starts.
Something to tell you, but now I forget. Probably nothing. Some little story, no, nothing, not yet. Probably nothing.
That song can be read in two different ways. The most obvious way is that it's about forgetfulness, but it can also be a kind of coy teasing. Sparks have got something to tell us, but nah, they forgot and it's probably nothing. And I'm just going to stop for a second to say, if you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe and share. And also check out some of my other videos. I've got tons of these with so much more to come. And I'd also just like to thank you for stopping by. We've already had one song about Abraham Lincoln and oblivious audiences, so let's move on to another. This one features Lincoln delivering his most famous speech to an audience who don't see it because they're too busy on their iPhones.
Gettysburg Address was delivered under very much duress. 20 years ago, they say, we declared, hey, why not break away? The crowd was hugely sure. It thought that he could offer up his cure. They seemed to be distracted in extreme. When Bush David Lincoln could be mean, he could be so mean. Put your fucking iPhone down and listen to me. Put your fucking iPhone down and listen to me. Listen to me.
So here's another audience, and they're missing something really important. They're missing something of historical consequence, all because they're distracted. So the two songs with Abraham Lincoln have something really important in common, in that you've got these people who are looking at something but not really seeing it. And I think that the thing of historical consequence is Sparks' big secret. It's a coded way of songwriting that has driven a career that hasn't really been revealed to us. Sparks haven't shared their side of the story. And I believe it is a story that they've written an ending for. I think one day it will be revealed, as hinted at on this song.
As I write my tone every single night, my eyes show the strain of computer light, but I'm pressing on, every word a pearl, and I'm pressing on. It will change the world, 'cause it's one, it's one, it's one. For the ages, it's one, it's one, it's one. For the ages, it's one.
So this accountant is writing a great book and his eyes show the strain of computer light. But imagine it's Ron on a different type of keyboard. He's at his piano, feverishly writing something that will change the world. Something that'll be revealed to us later.
Turn the pages, 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 turn the pages. How does this all end?
This is how it will all end, when we turn the pages and finally close that book. The song also features obliviousness from others.
When that day arrives, they'll say, isn't he that real quiet guy from accountancy? I knew all along he'd be something great. I had begged that guy for a special fate, 'cause he's
Right now, Sparks are a pretty obscure band, and in pop star terms, Ron could be that real quiet guy from accountancy. He certainly looks like an accountant, and here he's fantasizing that when his great book is released to the world, people will say that they always knew it. But I'm calling it now, because Ron and Russell have a special fate well beyond the cult band that we know them as today, and they're writing this fate for themselves right now using these songs. One for the Ages also features an audience, but they're not oblivious because this is calling ahead, is looking forward to this big reveal.
When the statues come, hope they look like me. When the prizes come, I will look to be humble in my speech, basking in applause. Soon the backlash comes. I don't care because it's one.
That's the bridge of the song, and it's got a lot in common with the bridge to When Do I Get to Sing My Way? Both are looking forward to a future where they can stand on stage and take all of this applause that they're overdue. So that's two songs from A Steady Drip, Drip, Drip. So let's look at a third song from that album. This is a song called Nothing Travels Faster Than the Speed of Light, and it's about breaking the rules of what's possible.
Tell me 100 things that I accept as gospel truth. Tell me 100 things we know are so commonly held opinions on the truth that we pursue. We know what we all know. Festival seating for the forum on new physics now. Marvelous breakthroughs that create a show. Festival seating for the forum on new physics now. I know I need to go.
I love that opening verse. It's all about the absolute certainties in life. Gospel truths, things we know are so, and commonly held opinions. All unquestionable truths that are about to be proven wrong. Then we move to the forum on new physics to see marvellous breakthroughs. It's a mixture of academic and spectacle, which is a lot like Sparks. And the festival seating creates this sense of hype and excitement. But more than that, it establishes an audience, which brings it back into the central theme of today's episode. This isn't an oblivious audience like before, but it's an audience that is about to be shown the impossible. And that's much like the audience here in the movie Annette that came out a year later.
You've read about her, you've heard about her, but nothing will have prepared you for what you're about to see. Nothing will have prepared you for what you're about to see and hear. Tonight,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the premiere performance of Baby Annette. Baby Annette. I am Henry McHenry. I am Henry McHenry.
Cynics among you may doubt that what you're about to see is real, that it is not faked in some way. Let me assure you it is real. Annette is a miracle. Miracles do exist.
That song is called The Premiere Performance of Baby Annette, and it features an audience who are about to see an impossible performance. I won't spoil it for those of you who haven't seen the movie yet, but ultimately this audience is in exactly the same position as those on festival seating at the Forum for New Physics.
Nothing travels faster than the speed of light, they tell you, but what they're telling you is really
So it's about questioning what you believe to be true, and that's something I'm asking of everybody watching this. But it's also about achieving the impossible. And how about this for impossible? A band who have preserved their creative spark for decades by setting themselves these impossible challenges, which are designed to shape their fortunes. They've crafted the best story in music history, and that's both in their coded lyrics and also in their real-world actions. And in both cases, they've kept this hidden from the world. We don't know Sparks' side of Sparks' story, but they thrived by being just the right level of famous, all by design. Sometimes they'll intentionally miss commercially. Sometimes they'll intentionally miss the zeitgeist. They'll aim to flop commercially. Why? Because all winners will be also-rans. And all of this is possible because every line of every Sparks song has to say something about what Sparks is or what Sparks will become. It has to feed into the bigger picture and it has to connect to previous songs. It's a set of rules that they established in the early 70s and have been evolving since, growing to ever greater heights. And the scale of it is apparent at the end of Nothing Travels Faster Than the Speed of Light.
Driving to you, there's no space and no time. Driving to you, there's a clear grand design. Faster than light and much faster than fate. Knowing that you're not the kind who will wait.
They say it themselves. There's a clear grand design. So what does it all mean? This. What lies underneath it all? This. And that other line. Drive into you, there's no space and no time. That hits differently in this context too, because Sparks thrive on routine. And daily, except for Sunday, Ron drives to Russell's house where they get to work in his home studio. So drive into you, there's no space and no time can be when he's mapping out these ideas in his mind palace. It's where he develops his clear grand design. Now that line is important to me because I see it as the birth of this channel, Metasparks. I'd seen self-referential lyrics in a few places on the album and decided to read through all of the lyrics with this mindset, as in, what if everything is about Sparks? Even songs about Mickey Mouse or sentient cigarettes. What if every song connects to a big picture, a clear grand design? Now that song was from A Steady Drip Drip Drip, and that came out just before the movie Annette, and Annette is also fixated on different kinds of audiences.
The music resounds and all the frames are lit. So ladies and gents, please shut up and sit. The curtains of our eyelids lazily rise. But where's the stage, you wonder? Is it outside or is it within? Get off the stage. You rude, unpredictable beast, it's your problem. Fuck, it's not my problem. Get off the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to the Hyperbole halftime show. To the thousands who are here in attendance, and the millions that are watching at home.
I made a video on that a couple of years ago and it fits really well with the narrative that I'm laying out here. So if you want to see how more weight can be added to this theory, then please check that out. But I'm going to bring this episode to a close by looking at some recent music by Sparks where they reference the audience. At the point of recording this, it's Sparks' latest song. It comes from an EP called Madder, and this is track 4. It's called They.
Came to see a shimmy for them, alright. And they came to see a hurry-gully, alright. And they came to see a bit of pure entertainment. but never were happy, and they were satisfied.
This song is about a disappointed audience who came to see some fantastic dancing, the shimmy and the hully-gully, but they weren't satisfied. So this is an audience that's disappointed with Sparks.
Came to see you do the Texas juice and they came to see the finish line done right, and they came to see an endless show, and they left with not getting their fill, and so they felt so let down.
Sparks have put on an endless show with their genre-defying career that's lasted since the early 70s and doesn't seem to be letting up. But here's the thing, I've been to several Sparks concerts and never have I seen an audience that are disappointed with them. So let's take a closer look. Who are they? Well, it's not Sparks fans, because Sparks fans would know what to expect. Now, I actually think that this is about a new audience for Sparks. And what's interesting is that this EP, Madder, came out at exactly the same time as another Sparks song. This was done in collaboration with Gorillaz. It's called The Happy Dictator.
As the shadows they are forming, come and join me center stage.
This song, in a matter of weeks, has become Sparks' biggest hit on YouTube. It's already got more viewers than This Town Ain't Big Enough for Both of Us. It's their biggest audience, and not because of Ronald Russell, but because of Gorillaz. So they've been invited to join them centre stage. Now, imagine being a Gorillaz fan whose interest in Sparks has been piqued by this Gorillaz track. He or she wants to know more about the band, so they go straight onto Spotify, they click on Sparks, and they see that they've got a brand new EP out. And they click play, and they hear this.
She's a porcupine. She's a porcupine. Not your cuddly kind. Not the least refined.
This song is a grower, I promise, but on first listen, it's brash and it's difficult. It's spiky, like a porcupine. The song itself is a porcupine, and not the cuddly kind. And its opening verse is the polar opposite of The Happy Dictator.
Uninvited to the big soiree, 'cause she rubs the folks the wrong way. Rough around the edges, you might say. Nothing wrong with that is what I'd say.
In place of come and join me centre stage, it says uninvited to the big soiree. It's the opposite. It's saying that they're not going to the big show, the big party. So by design, I think this song is meant to put people off Sparks. It's meant to stop them from winning new fans. And why? It's because they work best in obscurity. And somehow that runs in parallel to having 2 movies and acclaimed performances at the Royal Albert Hall. And it's how they go about achieving the exact right level of fame and success. So the audience in the song They have come to see the Philly slides done right, but they leave without getting their fill, because Porcupine is not an instantly likeable song. And with that in mind, the song They is no longer negative. It's not complaining that this audience doesn't get what Sparks are doing. It's celebrating how willfully provocative they are. It's celebrating how brave they are. The Gorillaz fans had their interest piqued and expected the musical equivalent of the shimmy shimmy or the hully gully. These are social dance crazes. They're pop, but this is what Sparks give them. The hitchhike and the cha-cha, like these earlier dances, are novelty dance crazes. It's pop, a lot like Sparks, but they're doing it in a Bayard kind of way, in a Balanchine-like way. And these are both accomplished and pioneering ballet dancers. They're highbrow and sophisticated, and this is also a lot like Sparks. They're highbrow and lowbrow simultaneously. They're both things. So if all of this is true, then Sparks aren't just writing songs about misunderstood performers, or distracted audiences, or impossible achievements. They're writing about their own art, over and over again. It's different songs, different eras, same underlying story. There's an artist doing something extraordinary, an audience that only half sees it, and a body of work that quietly connects everything together. And that changes how you hear them, because pulling rabbits out of a hat isn't just about a magician, it's a statement of intent. It says, we can do the impossible, but you might not recognise it when you see it. And maybe that's a point, because if Sparks had ever been fully understood, if it ever completely aligned with the moment, that spark might have died. Instead, they stay just out of reach, just misread, just underestimated. And that tension may be the thing that's kept that spark alive for more than 50 years. So the real question isn't what the Spark songs mean, it's what are they doing? And if this really is a long-form design, then we're not at the end of the story yet. So I'd say to everybody out there that it's worth keeping a close eye on what Ron and Russell Mail are doing, because the story will end at some point, and my prediction is that it'll be the greatest conclusion to a story in all of music history. So that brings us to the end of today's show, and I hope that didn't sound like hyperbole, because this is something that I'm truly excited about, and I've got so much more to come, because this episode has just skimmed over so much. But if you've enjoyed it, please come and join me on Metasparks, and I'd love to hear what you all think. And if people are interested, I've got tons of outtakes from this episode, things that I wrote that broke the flow but really help sell the central idea that I've been talking about. So let me know if you want to see that. And until next time, thank you for watching.
And they felt so